This is Lisa Wilcox, final girl Alice from A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, and it's time for another episode of Kryptonians Who Laugh here at the Fortress of Awesometude. Zombay-kay and Kalel Creed. Freddie says hi.
Oh boy!
Bienvenue! Where like I do that?
Yeah.
Zombay-kay and Kalel Creed, CS Zombay-kay, and this is episode 3 of Kryptonians Who Laugh.
Take 30.
Yeah, because we didn't. Yep, first time. Anyway, that was a little bit of French up the ruin, a little bit that I did learn while I was in high school when I took it. But I was so bad at it that my teacher, and this is a true story, told me that if I promised not to take it next semester, she would give me a D. So I took that deal and got out. But
I do have a question.
go ahead.
Do you think that in those 30 attempts of our intro, you learned more French than that entire semester?
Nope. It's the same. It's what I've learned. It's what I learned.
You just memorized that one thing, like the
Yeah.
bienvenue?
Yeah, bienvenue. That means welcome.
Oh. What does the other stuff mean?
Je m'appelle means my name is.
Okay.
And then CS means that's.
Zombay-kay.
Yeah.
I'm a that. Could you say like, and his name is that over there, that thing sitting there.
It's way too many more words.
That's fair.
So that's.
Okay. Alright.
So.
Guten Abend.
So. German.
Yeah, German.
I knew it.
Oh yeah. It has a very unique flair.
It all German sounds angry.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, I think the one German word that does not sound angry is wunderbar. That's wonderful. And it just sounds so wonderful. Wunderbar. It's not wunderbar, yeah. It's probably the only word in German that does not sound pissed off.
Yeah. The rest of it just sound angry. Even when you're happy, it just
Right.
sounds. That and Russian.
Yeah, sure. Russian sound, you sound drunk no matter
Yeah.
how you speak it. You sound like you're on your 5th shot of vodka.
Yeah.
No offense to Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what
I'm
it
just
is.
kidding.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Comedy comes in threes.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I know with German is this is a hot take. Like you said, everything sounds angry.
Mhm.
You gotta be very careful because I realized that if you try to like yell German, like angrily, kind of sound like Hitler. Like no matter who you are, you cannot angrily shout German. I think that's why every German person I've met whispers kindly. Because if you angrily shout, there's only one person that comes to mind. Guten Abend, and it's like, oh my god.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we might as well start with the biggest topic that's going on right now, and that's the George Floyd thing and all the protests and rioting and civil unrest that's going on in the world. I myself, I find it's really scary that someone would want to physically harm me because of, just my skin color, just the color of my skin. That the amount of melanin in someone's skin or lack thereof is enough to spark hatred. I can't imagine hating someone based on that. I don't know what merit that has or how that even makes sense. And I really believe that hate is something that is bred. You're raised into it. It's not something that is natural. I remember when I was in middle school. This is one of the. One time we been in 2 fights, 2 real other outside of my siblings, but fights that I've gotten into in school. And it was this white kid, and I'll never forget it. We were in gym class. We were at the top of the bleachers. And I don't know how it came up or what happened, but he ended up saying to us, he said, if we burn the Constitution, you all will be our slaves again. And it was so shocking that I got up and I pushed him off the bleachers. And I remember I pushed him off the bleachers and he flew back. He landed in a sea of backpacks. And the teachers came over and we told the teacher what he said, and he ended up getting expelled.
Good.
But looking back on it, that's not something that he knew. Somebody told him that.
Oh yeah.
He was raised that way. He was told that he was superior because he was white.
Mm.
And that we were inferior because we were black. That's something that's taught. I'm lucky enough to have a biracial household. My oldest son is white. If you look at him, he's white. Think he's black, but he's white. But he doesn't. He's never been told to treat anybody different due to a skin color, and it shows in them. Same with my daughters and my youngest son. If you put them around anybody, that's what they're going to play with. Doesn't matter what they don't look at skin color. They don't look at this person is different. They look at, oh, I have a new friend. You know, that's my friend. That's my new friend. My youngest daughter, Courtney, she comes up to me all the time when we go to places like what's that thing's name? It's a Thomas Road Church. You probably don't know what it is. You don't have any kids, but it's gonna bug me. I know what the name of it is. But anyway, you can go there and take kids. It's an indoor play area. And every time we go, she tells me about her new best friend that she has there. And that's from somebody that she's played with and she's met and she's just having fun. And that's how children are, unless they're raised or taught something different. And my heart goes out to his family. Nobody should lose their son, father, brother in that manner. But I really believe that his death has sparked something that's gonna institute real change. And I hope that's the case. I hope that real change comes about from this. I really hope that people take a look at themselves and their actions and say, what can I do better? How can I treat somebody with kindness? How can it doesn't cost anything to be a nice person. It doesn't cost anything to be kind to somebody. It doesn't, it's not a inconvenience to be decent to people. You have to go out of your way to be an asshole to somebody.
Sure.
You have to go out of your way to say, I'm just going to be a dick to this person. You have to go out of your way. It's natural just to do something kind for someone. Hold the door open. Say hello when you see someone. It's not hard. And I just hope that the riots and the protests aren't for nothing. I don't agree with the rioting. I understand it. I don't agree with it. But I really hope that all the protests and all this brings about a real change where we all come together and we see that racism is not the way. Like hating someone because of how they look it's not a good look. So I just hope that by the time my youngest son, who's the same skin complexion as me, never has to go through anything like that. I have had a run-in with the police. This is actually while I was in the military, and it was when I was in D.C. and we were coming home from the club, and it was me and one of my friends, and she was white, and we were driving back to the base, and we were right outside the base going. There's a road that goes down the exterior wall that you turn and go into the base. So we were driving down and we got pulled over. So pull over to the side, and all of a sudden we see guns drawn on us, like for us to get out of the car. So we're like, okay, I mean, because we weren't speeding, we were just coming back. We weren't drunk, it was nothing. We had left our other friends, and they went home, and me and her lived on base. So we going back to base, go home. So we get pulled out of the car, and it's a white cop and a black cop that pulls us out of the car, and I'm like, what's all this about? Like, why do y'all have guns drawn on us? Like, what's going on? And they were like, telling me to shut up and shut my mouth and just being real belligerent to me. And I was like, yo, me and her, we're cops on the base. Like we work on base. And they were like, oh, that's real convenient that you're a cop. I said, yo, my gun belt's in the back it was in my back seat. I said, my gun belt's right there. It's in the back seat. I said, we work with cops on base. And so they go look in the car, and they had me against the car. She was sitting on the curb, and they go look in the car, and it was like kind of like a just get out of here type thing. And I was thinking, like, what if I wasn't a cop on base? But like, what would have happened? Like what would have happened? What were they thinking? What was going on? They never gave me a reason why they pulled me over. It was kind of just like he was showing off for the white cop, and they were showing off for each other to see what they could do, and they saw this black dude with this white woman, and they was gonna make an example out of me. It just so happens that I was a cop on base, so it's stuff like that does happen, and it's a shame that I have to be careful living everyday life. I have to be careful doing normal things because I could get pulled over and something could happen for absolutely no reason. Just because my skin color induces fear. My skin color is something to be feared, allegedly. But that's not the case. It's not. I'm more than my skin color. I'm proud to be black. I love being black. It's fun. It's a whole lot of fun. I love it. But it shouldn't be a determining factor of whether I live or die or not. And I just pray that this brings us together, and that these type of incidences stop. There can't be bad apples. You know what I'm saying? Like at certain jobs, you can't be a bad apple. You can't be a pilot and be a bad apple. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to be good at your job.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're doing. When I was a cop, it was you know what you were doing or you go to jail. That's how serious it was being a military cop. If you get something wrong, you go to jail. So you have to know what you're doing and what you're pulling somebody over for and what the procedures are. Like if you mess up, you go to jail. It's that simple. And being a pilot, there's no room for error. There's no, there's a few bad apples. It's okay that he crashed a plane into the side of a mountain. There's a few bad apples. That doesn't work for that profession. Why is it okay for cops? I don't understand it, and I just hope that this gets better. There are peaceful protests going on in Lynchburg. There's one coming up Saturday, June the 13th, at the Lynchburg Community Market at 8 a.m. It's going to be a peaceful protest. It's by Students for Students. It's called I Rise for Black Lives, and I'm going to be there if they're still there when I get off work. I go to work at 7, but if they're still there when I get off, I'll be down there. And I just hope that like I said, this brings us together. That's really all I have to say. What about you?
All right. I mean, I 100% agree with what you were saying. Don't really know where to start. I mean, like this whole issue, you know, spoiler alert, I'm a huge history nerd. Like, I am, and he knows this about me, like, I find it fun to read history. Like, I just did it just passing time.
It's true.
And this whole issue doesn't start here. It starts hundreds of years ago. And it's an issue that hasn't been resolved. People think that just because racism has taken a new face from slavery, that it's gone. And it's not. It's still here. It still dominates people's lives, dictates their actions, causes people to second guess what they're going to do, specifically because they're afraid of whether they're not going to come home or not. So it's not gone. Racism is still here. It's systemic. It's in the culture that we live in. The taxes that we pay go towards a racist constitution. I mean, the entire nation was founded on racist beliefs. The founding fathers had slaves, whether you like it or not. You know, George Washington, one of the best men in American history, owned slaves. You know, it's something that people like to try to shy away from, because, like, we don't want to be a part of that. We don't want to associate with that. It's like, you're right, but we can't ignore it. You know, we can't try and erase America's past and our misdeeds. If we do that, we forget. And when we forget, we're unable to move forward. And I feel like that's what's been going on lately with, like what you were bringing up in middle school with that kid who was raised to feel that way. You know, people just forgot. They forget about it. They out of sight, out of mind. They don't worry about it. Doesn't affect me. Why should I care? And you get into that mindset, and it's extremely dangerous and it's extremely toxic. You know, there's two kinds of moral codes that I believe in my philosophy. There's nature as a moral code, and then there's nurture as a moral code. And nature is the very basic things, like what you were talking about, being kind. That's a pack mentality. Humans are pack animals. That's why we band together in society. We form societal structures to coexist. Humans are pack animals. We feel the safest when we're together. That's a pack mentality. You don't see packs of animals killing each other for no reason. It doesn't happen. And there's a reason why. Nurture is what bred the idea of hatred. Nurture is what bred racism, and it's something that we need to address as a society, and we need to see the flaws. I don't think history classes should shy away from it. When I was going into history, and we discussed briefly when you were in school, when I was in school, history class, you know, the Civil War, slavery, you know, black rights, all of that was something we skimmed. You know, we barely touched on it because it was a hot topic. And in my opinion, the reason that it's a hot topic is why we should focus on it. We need to educate people and let them know that it's wrong, and we need to explain to them why it's wrong. We should not, as the world's idea of freedom, America was supposed to be the ideal system. We can't be ashamed of things that we've done to the point to where we just pretend they didn't happen. Because if it gets to that point and we pretend it doesn't happen, we're going to end up doing it again. And we see that with our illustrious president. You know, he fear-mongered throughout his entire election period against Hispanics and Muslims. And now he's fear-mongering against protesters and sending National Guard on people who are peaceful protesting out of the fear that they might riot, just because a few people have rioted.
Mm-hmm.
That's fear-mongering. That's something that happened during World War II that Adolf Hitler did with the Jews. He fear-mongered to where people were terrified of a certain group of citizens, so they unified around that fear and hatred. And it's ridiculous. We should have progressed as a society beyond that point. I hate to say it in any other words, but as a society, as a people, we really should grow up. Like, hatred is childish. And this whole hatred of somebody for their skin color is ridiculous. And it's ignorant. And I don't blame people who are raised in an ignorant ideology. It's not their fault. They were born into that, but it is their fault if they choose to stay ignorant.
Yep.
And that's really about all I can say on it.
Well said, my friend.
Well, thank you.
I just hope, like I said, I just hope that we all heal from this.
Yeah.
And the people who are rioting, like I said, I understand why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
People are pissed.
Yeah, rightfully so.
People are mad. You brought up people are talking about, well, why don't they do peaceful protests? Oh,
Breathing water. Oh God. All right.
almost lost you.
Yeah, I almost just died. Like, damn. All right, go ahead.
But you were saying, like, why don't people peacefully protest?
Mm-hmm.
And you brought this up. We've tried that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick tried to just simply take a knee.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't good enough.
People said not the right time or place for it.
Yeah.
People try to peaceful protest, not the right time or place for it.
Mm-hmm.
People try to pass bills in Congress, not the right time or place for it. And we had this discussion yesterday, and the first time we tried to record this episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if you might be able to link the audio or not, but basically we talked about the standards, the kind of our society with the people, and we discussed about how it's a social contract that that we have as an unspoken agreement with law enforcement and with our leaders, that we pay them taxes, we go about our daily lives, help the function of the country, keep the economy rolling, and in return we just want safety. Mm-hmm. We want them to protect us, we want them to keep our homes safe and secure, we want to be able to feel like we can come home without dying. Mm-hmm. That's all we really want. And in black communities, that contract has been torn up over and over and over. And I understand why they're pissed. I get it. I don't condone it. I don't condone violence, but I understand. And I am not going to tell them not to do it. It's not my place to do that. I will say that it's sad that it took violence to actually get anything done. Because before this scenario started happening, the cops, weren't they just walking away with at first, before the protest started, weren't they just getting written up? They was just, nothing was going on.
If that.
Yeah. And then because the people started protesting, they got tried. The guy who did it, ex-cop, got tried for started third-degree murder. Mm-hmm. And then they got the people who sat by and did nothing fired, and all of them got tried for second-degree murder.
Charged. They haven't been charged yet.
Right. Charged for second-degree murder. And I just think that it's really sad that it took this much outspokenness about how the people feel for them to do something about it. If they just did their jobs to begin with, none of this would have been happening. But
True story.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my friends online, and he was asking well, why are the other 3 cops getting charged? They didn't do it. It was that one guy. And I had to explain to him, if someone has the power to stop something from happening, and they choose to sit idly by and allow it to happen, they're just as guilty as the person doing it.
Yeah, especially if you're a cop also, your job is to protect.
Exactly.
So if you see, it doesn't matter if another officer's doing it, if you see something that a crime is being committed, you
stop it.
You have a duty to stop it.
Exactly. So that makes them just as liable.
Yep.
Yeah, like you were saying, you in your 8 years of being a cop, you were never taught to put your knee on the back of someone's throat.
10 years.
10 years.
Months and 22 days.
Math.
Math.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that isn't normal. That's not something that they teach. I believe it was Lynchburg Police Department made an open statement about it, saying that we don't teach that. Like, that's not something that is
it's not a thing.
Yeah.
We have a use of force model, and it's what you do at certain levels when a suspect is doing certain things. You have a certain level. It's a use of force. It's like stairs. You escalate as the situation dictates.
Right.
Someone handcuffed and face down on the ground is not
a threat.
Imminent threat to your life.
Right.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. No, that's bullshit.
So, DVD. We had a bet on who the new killer was going to be.
Yep. I was Jason.
And I was Candyman. And we were both really, really wrong.
Horribly wrong, actually.
Yeah.
We were in like the movie genres. The guy came from a gaming genre.
Yeah.
He got adapted to the movies.
Yeah. But you're a huge fan of those movies, aren't you?
Silent Hill?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan now. New killer is Pyramid Head. All right. Silent Hill. If you've never seen it, what are you doing? Live a little. But Silent Hill is a really good game. The movie, but definitely most people have heard of Silent Hill. Pyramid Head is the dude, if you don't know, big ass pyramid for a head, carries like a 9-foot cleaver for no reason, just to flex on people. Speaking of flexing, he's swole. He's huge. The dude is ripped. Like, I'm like, those are goals. He's ripped.
And he got the eeks.
He does too. Yeah. He's double cheeked up.
Yeah, he's cheeked up. He's jacked.
Yeah.
Huge pyramid on his head. Well, pyramid. Huge pyramid on his head. Why does he have the pyramid on his head?
I don't fucking know.
You did tell me you knew. You told me this.
I told you why he was masked. I don't know why he chose a pyramid.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Yes. Oh, God.
Okay, so the creator, I don't remember his name, of Silent Hill, the reason he gave Pyramid Head a mask was because he thought that giving the creature a face was too humanizing. He wanted to keep it ambiguous, and like some added little information was that if you saw Pyramid Head's face, he takes the face of whoever you feel the most negative emotion towards, like regret usually. Like for the main character, I think he was saying that underneath Pyramid Head's mask would be his wife's face. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure he killed his wife. But Pyramid Head is the manifestation of your deepest, darkest regrets. Your deepest fears, the things that are preventing you from moving forward as a person. That's what Pyramid Head represents. So that's what his face would look like, is whoever that regret is towards. But yeah, new killer's Pyramid Head.
I love the new map.
Yeah, the new map looks dope.
Yeah.
The new map looks dope.
Yeah.
I'm probably don't get me wrong, I like Pyramid Head. I like him. But the thing I like the most about this season is the map. I think the map's dope. I also, since we're kind of gaming more often and I have more people to game with, I've been transitioning to Survivor to be predominantly what I play because I need to get the good perks. So I'm not even really that interested in the new Survivor. So it's most thing I'm interested in is the map. Map looks dope. But yeah, you did actually mention Pyramid Head. on when the chapter artwork was revealed. He talked about how the 4 looked like Pyramid Head's big ass Pyramid Head, and we kind of laughed it off, and we were like, "Nah, that wouldn't be it." And we didn't give it a single extra thought. But yeah, new guy's Pyramid Head. I'm excited for it, mainly because it shows that Dead by Daylight and Behavior's the company that created DVD, really aren't bound by anything. They've taken killers from their own imaginations, from cinema, from novels, from gaming now. They can take it from anything. As long as they get the rights, they'll throw it in. And I'm like, that's dope. Also brings me more hope to see Jason in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be dope. But
what about the teacher files you were talking about?
oh yes. So the teacher files, for anybody who plays Dead by Daylight, it's free on mobile. Play it. Anybody who plays Dead by Daylight, you may not know about it because teacher files existed in the beta of the game, but were never used. They are like perks, right? They have they look like a perk, it's something you would add for a survivor or a killer, and there's different tiers of them. And they have like their own artwork. They have their own audio tied in with them. So they're their own like full of things. And data miners found it in like the very first release of the game, and they've never been used. But in every single update, the teacher files are there. They keep bringing them back. And during this whole thing of people trying to guess the next killer, they showed devs working like their stations at home, and on one of the dev stations, the teacher files were there, so you could see the perks on the camera on his computer, and he or she was working on the teacher files. So we don't know what the hell they are, but they exist. The King, who's a YouTuber who plays Dead by Daylight, he was actually interviewing with the main developer of Behavior, and he asked him about the teacher files and if we'll ever see them, and he wouldn't give a straight answer. He was just kind of like trying to laugh it off and saying like, well, that's a little, I can't really talk about that. So it's like, yes, we're going to see them. They're not just some random red herring that's been there since beta. I have a theory that they're going to deal with a killer who is teacher themed. Thus teacher files. Like one of them was like an apple with razor blades in it was the image. Another one was like a kid's face with like a dunce hat. So that's why teacher files looks like stuff at the school. And I think another one was a ruler. So I'm thinking that we're going to get a killer who is like teacher themed. I don't know how they'll manage to make that work. Maybe they'll throw textbooks. That'd be funny. Like you're gonna learn today, then we're gonna yeet a textbook at somebody's head, clonk on to the back of the head, put him in the injured state. Exactly. Put him in the dying state off one yeet. His fucking Mori will just be like making somebody take a final exam. It's like, you got an F, and then they're like, oh, they died. But
That was the worst.
what do you mean? That was perfect.
That was horrible.
But yeah, that's the teacher files. I'm excited to see what they do with those. My little stupid headcanon, my tinfoil hat. They're going to bring a teacher in, and we're going to have a teacher killer. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But Pyramid Head drops on the 16th.
I was right!
Yeah. Drops on the 16th.
Next Tuesday.
Yep, next Tuesday.
I don't think I can afford it one drop, because, yeah.
My credit card can.
Oh.
So, I'll drop that $7 for that.
Well, is it $7?
I'm assuming that's what everybody else. That's the highest that any killer's been was $7.
Oh, then yeah, I can get it. I was thinking it's gonna be like $20 for the DLC.
Oh. Every I haven't seen one. Even like the Death Slinger, he was $7.99. He was one of the higher ones. It may have been $9.99. I think $10 is the highest that I've seen.
Okay, yeah, well, never mind. I can
chapter
get it.
and killer and all that stuff. So
I was worried for a second because, I was like, if it was like $20, I'm probably gonna wait just for a little bit, just out of paranoia, until I at least get something.
But we get paid on the 15th.
On the 15th, yeah, but I got bills. Dude,
you have 2 bills. I don't want to hear that.
No, I do not have 2 bills. I'm taking classes that start
3 bills. Okay, 3 bills. There's 3 bills.
Wow.
There's 3 bills.
Okay, yeah, 3 bills.
Yeah, you have 3 bills. Okay. I bet he'll have them. I guarantee he'll have them.
I have at least 3. I have more than that. I got, I might be young to you, but I am adulting. I do have things to do with my life.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that time that I picked up a prostitute?
No.
Dramatic.
Dun, dun, like
Hard left.
Yeah. We
Hard
didn't
left.
have the Law and Order Special Victims Unit thing. Just go right there.
Well, this was when I was when I lived in Maryland. I was in the military, of course, and I didn't mean to pick up a prostitute. I didn't mean to pick up a prostitute.
Allegedly.
I didn't mean to pick up a prostitute. It wasn't. I didn't leave my house saying I'm gonna go buy me some. I didn't eat a dick. I didn't.
That's what you got a prostitute for.
Whatever. I was going to work. So I left my house. Driving up. You drive up the street, then you hop on the freeway, and then I was going to the base. So there was this woman standing on the side of the road. It was like in the median, like on, how the roads go both ways on the median. She was standing on the median, and she was like waving people down, and nobody stopped. So I stopped, and she was like, "I just need a ride 2 exits down." Okay, cool. I didn't, this is a young baby Dion who didn't know anything, who had just been thrown out into the world, and I had never been exposed to a prostitute before, so I didn't know. I always seen them on TV. So I was like, okay, cool. So she gets in the car. She never said anything about sex or paying for it or whatever. None of that was ever mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We get in the car. We get on the freeway. As soon as we get on the freeway, 3 cop cars come out and pull me over. Oh shit. So I'm like, who did I pick up? So they pulled me over, I pull over, they pull her out of the car. They say, didn't we tell you about hitchhiking and trying to get rides from people, talking to her?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just standing there. I'm just sitting in the car. And then the guy pulls me out of the car, asked me for my license and asked me what I was doing. I was like, I'm just going to work. I saw her at the top of the hill. She asked me for a ride for a couple exits down. So I was just giving her a ride. And he took my license, he looked at it, he saw I was from here. And it was a black guy for this next part, don't get alarmed. But he was like, oh, you just some dumb nigga from Lynchburg, Virginia, huh? And I said, well, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know. So,
we don't have those around these parts.
Yeah, around my parts. We don't have those around my parts. So he gave my license back and let me go. So that was my first time dealing with a prostitute.
Okay.
It did happen again, not in Maryland. This one takes place overseas in Turkey. Over in Turkey, when you go off base, it's this thing called the alley. It's called the alley. It's not an alley, but it's called the alley. And all it is a bunch of stores, restaurants, clothing stores, furniture stores. You can get anything that you can imagine. They can make it for you, some form of fashion in the alley. So everybody will go there to get stuff like get suits made, get jackets made, get shoes made, furniture, whatever they needed, because some people did live on base, so they got furniture and stuff made and brought to the base. In each store, their custom is they're real hospitable people. They really do want you to be comfortable in their shop. They want you to be comfortable with them. So they'll offer you a drink. They'll say, do you want something to drink? There's nothing, nefarious or sinister or, anything like that. It's just, that's just how they are. So you'll say, okay, can I get a Tuborg? A Tuborg is a beer. 3 of our beers equals 1 of theirs. So it's the potency of you drinking 1 Tuborg is the potency of 3 of our beers at once. And they'll send a little kid off. He'll run out of the shop. He'll come back about 2 minutes later with the Tuborg. You know, they open it in front of you and everything. So, you know, you can go to every store and have a beer. At the end of the alley is where the clubs were, where we would go hang out and have fun. So technically, you can get drunk before you got to the club, pre-game, as the kids call it, before you get to the club. So that's what we would do. Well, it was this. I met this girl in there, and I was digging her. She was digging me. Nothing happened the first night. We were just, you know, kind of flirting back and forth with each other. I ended up going home. We go back, you know, a couple more times, a couple more weeks in a row, and same thing. She's there again. I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought she was local. I thought she just lived, you know, lived around the area. Because if you go to bars here, it's people that frequent the bar. So it was kind of that kind of mentality. That's not what happened. That's not who she was. So like the fourth or, you know, third or fourth time, I was overserved, I would say. Had one too many Tuborgs. So I went in there and I saw her and I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a move.
Okay.
So I go up and you know, saying we were talking and I try to kiss her. And she kisses me, but she kind of pushes me off, like, and she's kind of like looking around. And that's when I found out that she had a pimp, and that's how I found out that she was a prostitute. So this is when I aborted mission and got the hell out of there because I don't pay for it.
Okay.
So those are my 2 times I encountered prostitutes.
Okay.
In my young life.
All right.
Try to take advantage of poor young Dion.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Nefarious women. In
Yeah.
Seductive ways.
Exactly. That's what they did. They tried to get them. They didn't get them.
No, they didn't bite from your fruit.
Yeah. I didn't bite from their fruit.
Yes, right.
Yeah. They get these yeeks. Do you have any prostitute stories?
I don't have any prostitute stories. I'm not a degenerate, but I do have a few different stories. One, I don't think I've ever mentioned to you. I haven't mentioned it to you. This is before I was working. Was I in security yet? Yeah, I was in security, but I was working down at KDC. KDC is a manufacturing plant, and I was in the distribution center, which is a separate plant off of the manufacturing side, which is downtown. I was in the distribution side, so warehouse, and there was like no AC in the building. It would get to like, you know, it was about 90 degrees outside inside of a giant metal box. It gets kind of hot.
I think you told me about you working.
Yeah, yeah. I would pull some ridiculous hours, but anyway, that's not a story about that. So I'm coming home late one night. I get off at like 2 a.m. every night, unless I'm, you know, pulling a double. So I get off at 2. I'm heading home, and I'm driving down Water Lake, right down there. And you know the Marathon station? There's a few houses that are past that. They're up further. I was passing those, and I see a girl walking in the road.
I knew it was a prostitute in this story.
She wasn't a prostitute. She was not a prostitute.
Okay.
At all. I drove by her, and on a passing, like, so she was like in the road, and I was like, I had to like go around her into the other lane. So I was like, what are you doing, right? So out of my peripheral, whatever. All I see is she was barefoot, and it looked like she was wearing just a shirt that was like half off, and like some really short shorts or underwear. I couldn't tell what they were, and that's all I see passing. So my immediate thought is red flags. You know, like, is this lady okay? So I stopped in the marathon, and I don't know why I didn't immediately think call 911. I immediately called my dad. And I was like, I just called my dad, and he was a poor man. He was on patrol, but he was downtown. So I called him. I was like, "Hey, Dad," and he was confused. It's 2 a.m. My son's calling me while I'm on work. What is he doing? So he answers, he's like, "Yes," and I'm like, and I explained the situation to him, and he was like, "Why are you calling me?" He was like, "Call the cops. Like, why are you calling me?" And I'm like, "I didn't know what to do." And he was like, "Well, I mean, can you see her?" And I was like, "No, she was further up the road, and I'm parked in the marathon. No, she's further up the road." And so he was like, "Well, I mean, I guess, you know, call the cops. Try not to get out of the car. You don't know what's going on. You know, they could be somebody trying to lure you out. You don't know what's happening." I'm like, "That's true." So yeah, I called 911. And in the meantime, I double back and I'm heading back up. And the girl's like, you know, now in the road trying to get my attention. And I roll down the window.
Sounds familiar.
She wasn't a prostitute. I rolled down the window and I could smell like alcohol on her. And she was asking for my help. She was like, I need to get to my mom's place. I just got in a fight with my significant other. I need to get to my mom's place. And I couldn't understand what the hell she looked like she was like bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, I don't go to her in my car. I don't know what the hell this lady is. I don't know if she's going to like, you know, what she's going to do. So instead, I'm like, you know, there's a marathon right there. Let's stop right there. Cops are on their way and they can talk to you. She's like, "Oh, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble." I'm like, "Nobody's going to be in trouble." I'm like, you know, like you're not in trouble. You didn't do anything. We're just worried about you. Like we don't know what happened. So, you know, she's sitting on the curb and I'm sitting down next to her, and you know, she's just sobbing, like saying she's sorry, and I'm just like, for what? Like, you haven't done anything. Like, are you okay? And then the cops get there and they look just as confused as me. It's like, you know, here's this white dude sitting on the side of a curb with a half-naked chick. Like, what's going on? She wasn't a prostitute. And so, you know, like they handled it from there, and I left, and that was a confusing night. I think that's the first time I actually had to call 911. Was because I saw some chick who might have been assaulted. I don't know.
So to compare, we both saw women in the road.
Yep.
We both pulled over to help them.
Yep.
And police were involved in both situations.
But yours was a prostitute and mine was an assault victim.
We are the same.
We are not the same.
We are the same. That's the lesson here, kiddies. We are the same.
A prostitute is an assault victim, but
we are the same. Nailed it.
Okay. All right. And my second story. I told you this one, I think yesterday.
It's the sausage story?
Yes, sausage story. Okay, so something the listeners at home, we need to figure out a name for them, you know, for our crowd. You know, we got to figure out like our kitties.
Yeah.
So we call them kitties. Fuck them. Fuck the kids.
You people.
What do you mean, you people?
You people.
Yeah, so something that you guys need to know about me is I was not born with a filter. That's something I had to develop throughout the years. This is one of the times where I realized I need to think before I say things. I was in high school. I was a little baby, freshman year, Brookville, so, you know, redneck, yee. And I was like that emo kid, had the whole like teased up hair, you know, wore chains on me and all that bullshit.
You took a train wallet?
Yeah, I had that, you know, I thought I was cool looking. I just looked stupid. I looked like I stuck my finger in an electric socket and called it a hairdo, but whatever. And I had come into school and I was tired as hell. I had really bad sleep patterns back then. I mean, I still do, but at least right now I'm getting paid to be up all night. Before I wasn't.
Right.
I would just be up all night, then sleep throughout school because I was a piece of shit. If I could go back and
that's a little much.
I do, trust me. If you knew high school me, you would have been like, this guy's a piece of shit. Like, anyway, so I had gotten into school, going on like 20 minutes of sleep. I was exhausted, and I had gotten a biscuit from the cafeteria, and they didn't have sausage biscuits. They had plain biscuits and chicken biscuits. That's all they had, which explains my confusion at first. because for a second I forgot you could get biscuits anywhere else besides school. But I was eating a biscuit and I was out with my friends, and Brookville was really weird. You know, normally schools, high schools, they have different cliques. You know, Brookville, at least at the time I went there, their redneck clique and their emo clique clicked together. It was like one clique. Okay. So you would have people in full out camo spit and dip on the side of the corner right next to some dude in a Black Veil Bride shirt smoking a cigarette. Like, that's just how they were. Okay. It was weird. But anyway, so I went outside and I was hanging out with my friends, and there was the rednecks. They were there yee-yeeing about, and all of a sudden I smell sausage, like fresh off the griddle, you know, nice, sizzling, delectable sausage. And me, 20 minutes of sleep, nasty ass chicken biscuit, smelling some good ass sausage. I'm like, who has sausage? Like, where is that coming from? Can anybody else smell sausage? And my friend, you know, Michael, he was like, no, I don't smell sausage. Like, am I having an aneurysm? Like, you know, I thought, like, am I going, like, am I sleep deprived? Like, why am I smelling sausage and no one else is? Right? So I thought I was going nuts. Okay. I finished my biscuit, I ball it up, and I get up from the bench, head into the trash can. You know, point A, point B, done. I was passing the rednecks, and I was passing a girl in the redneck circle who smelled like sausage. This scent was coming from her. And I was overjoyed. I remember feeling like I wasn't going crazy.
So what happened was you just kept walking and you just knew she smelled like sausage.
No. Remember when I said I learned to grow a filter? Okay. This is why. Okay. My dumbass was passing her, stopped, looked at her, and went, "It's you!" And she was confused. It was like, what? I was like, you smell like sausage. I've never been slapped so hard in my life. Thank goodness I wasn't wearing glasses. It would have been across the courtyard.
So you just walked up to another human.
Another human being.
And said,
"You smell like sausage."
You smell like sausage.
Yep. I was like, "You smell like sausage."
And then you got slapped.
I got bitch slapped. When I say I got slapped, that's an understatement. Like, it was, if I was in a Looney Tunes cartoon, my head would have done a 360. It was a hard smack. And then I was just like, oh, I should not have said that. And then I tossed the trash and went about my day.
That went about how it was supposed to went.
Yeah. So, it turns out women do not like being told they smell like sausage. Don't do it.
Unless you're one of my women.
Oh my God. The prostitute?
Look, you picked up one too. So
she wasn't a prostitute.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that she didn't come from a bad transaction. And so you picked up a prostitute. Prostitute, dude. Welcome to the club. You wanted to do it.
I almost did. I see a high five, and I'm like, I can't leave him hanging. And I'm like, wait, what am I agreeing to?
That you picked up a prostitute. Well, that you made contact with the prostitute. So, me and you, we are the same. Last story of the night, and then we'll wrap this up. It's my continuation, huh?
None. I think I got the answer.
Oh. It's my continuation from Drunk Stories from last episode. I have one more that I forgot. And I was reminded of this by one of the individuals who is in said story, who threatened physical harm to me if I didn't tell this story. I'll reveal this person as the story goes along. So, I worked at the wonderful world of StarTech for T-Mobile. And you get an hour lunch break. So, a few of us went to La Coretta, the one over here on Waterloo. And we decided on getting some drinks. So we got some drinks. La Coretta drinks are very strong. Very strong. Someone's running away from something. But anyway, they're very strong. So I didn't know that. So we got a few and we started putting them back. And it was, I want to say, it was 6 of us? 2, 4, yeah, 6 of us. It was me, my boy Tony, there's a girl named Megan, a girl named Tina, my cousin Katie, and the woman who threatened me to tell the story, Mercedes. Hi, Mercedes. She told me I better shout her out.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Mercedes.
Hey, how you doing? I like Mercedes cars too.
She sucks. I'm just kidding. I love you, Sadie. I do. She'll have something to say about that, but whatever. She can't beat me. She don't want this smoke.
Mercedes Benz gonna bend that ass. What's she gonna
I
do?
tell her she has a stripper name all the time. She doesn't believe me. She says, it's not a stripper name. Sadie has a stripper name, but
Well, you would know you got a prostitute.
we had a prostitute.
Don't say it like that. It sounds like we shared one.
But anyway, we were in La Coretta's and we all started getting drinks. La Coretta's was busy that night, so we didn't even eat our food. So we took it to go. Took it back to StarTech. Well, I was feeling good. I was feeling nice. The girls went a little overboard.
As girls do.
Yeah, they went a little
Cut that out.
overboard. The problem with that is Meg and Tina had to go back to training class, so they had more learning to do for the night. So they had to sit in class and act like they weren't drunk when they were smeared. Mercedes, Katie, and Tony were floor support, so they didn't really didn't affect them that much. But Katie has a habit of laughing loudly.
Like
Mercedes,
mine laughing or like
yours, but a woman.
oh god.
So it's more high pitched, but it's a deliberate, jarring laugh. it's an attention getter. Mercedes does it perfect. Mercedes can do Katie's laugh on command every single time, and she nails it. I love her. She kills the game. But she can do Katie's laugh all the time. Even she'll do the laugh around Katie, and then Katie will laugh the exact same right after Mercedes does it, and it's gold every single time. So I had to figure out how to cover all this up because I was the supervisor. So I was the coach of the team. So I was in charge of everybody. So I had to go back, and nobody could know. The trainer couldn't know. The other coach couldn't know. So I had to hide Mercedes and Katie. Tony was okay. I had to hide Mercedes and Katie. They couldn't get back on the phones because they were drunk. And I couldn't bring them into the classroom because they were drunk. Luckily, you couldn't smell it. I don't think. I was drunk, so I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just an interesting night of trying to hide drunk people and being drunk at work at StarTech. But fuck that place, so whatever.
What about Vegas? You gotta talk about that, dude.
Oh, I stuck them in Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas is the only room, well, it was at the time, the only room in that building that didn't have video or audio. And so we called it Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So we would go in there, close the door at the end of the night, and we would play games like Never Have I Ever, like the dirtiest version of it that you could think of. We would ask the most filthy questions, and come to find out, it is some disgusting people in a good way that were on my team. I had the all-star team when it comes to freaks on my team. Speaking of that, hi Julia. Julia is also, she's like my sister. I love her to death. We're in a group chat together, me, her, and Mercedes. It's her daughter's birthday. It was her daughter's birthday. This is her daughter. It was her daughter's birthday, Cadence. So I want to say happy birthday, Cadence.
Happy birthday.
We're shouting you out, and now you're going to be world famous. You're welcome.
Yeah, we did that. When you glow up, don't forget about us.
That's right. And she's also, Cadence is also, she was at the peaceful protest that happened, I want to say, not even a week ago. She was there. She's a real good egg, a real good student, and to be so young, she's really aware and knows what's going on, and she's really working towards change.
Nice.
I'm assuming that she's going to be at the one coming up on the 13th, because that's just the kind of person she is. She's a real good person, real good girl. She's funny. She's awesome. Julia's lucky to have her as a daughter. But hi, Julia. Shout out, Julia.
Hello.
Happy birthday, Cadence.
Happy birthday.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Keep shooting for the stars and all that.
Yes.
That softy
Garbage. Gooey.
Anywho.
Bullshit.
That was my drunk story of Star Trek. Go ahead.
All right. I did want to. You mentioned the second time about the protest, the peaceful protest that's happening on the 13th.
Yep.
The 13th is my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So happy birthday for me. I will be going to that about, obviously I get off work at 7,
Yeah.
you relieve me, and then I'll be getting changed, and then I'll head out. It's supposed to be hot,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to go in the work clothes. I would be
Yeah.
I would be dead.
Yeah.
So no thanks. But so I'm going to that. But moving off of that, I would like for people to research something called Campaign Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who is watching this, please look it up. It is something that I am researching myself, and it is promoting change for the current systemic racism that exists in our society, about other options besides having try to have a one shoes fits all type of law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
They're offering a bunch of different ideas. They have lawyers on their team that are helping them, construct different laws to try to get it into Congress. So even if you just research and sign your name on the petition, you don't have to, if you can spare some money for them, that'd be great. But you don't have to. But yeah, it's called Campaign Zero. We'll probably be linking it in the description of this. I'll find it and link it. And it's a great cause. Look into it. At least look into it. So
Why not?
exactly, why not? Always try to become smarter. Strive for excellence, not ignorance. So
Well said. All right.
quote a day.
So I think we're out of here. I think we're done.
Later.
Episode 3. I think it was a good one.
Episode V.
Yeah.
Z.
I guess. I don't
That
know.
is German for 3.
I don't know 3 in French.
It's fine. It's V.
I don't know 3 in French. 3 in French.
Say trace. There you go. You start with French and then Spanish.
Yeah. I guess our theme today is foreign languages.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I'm learning that. You need to hop on Duolingo, pick up a foreign language.
I'm good.
We can have a competition
I'm good.
between each other.
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate it though. Thank you for the offer. I'm gonna pass. No, I'm good.
Anyway,
So as always, I'm Kalel Creed,
I'm Zombay-kay.
and you must feel the ice.
That was corny. You can do better than that.